This week, the Downtown Austin Alliance covered all things safety at a forum with community leaders and local authorities. To give us some insight now, Bill Brice from the Downtown Austin Alliance is joining us. So Bill, thank you for being here, first of all.
Thank you for having us.
I know that safety is really a top priority for the Alliance, and that was really one of the main conversations during this forum. Talk to me about crime trends. What are you all seeing in the downtown area, especially since the beginning of the year till now?
We know that public safety is priority one for downtown. If you can't have downtown being clean and safe and welcoming, then it really doesn't matter what else you do to try to promote and market downtown. So priority one is public safety. We're fortunate knowing that through the course of 2022, crime trends were flat compared to 2021. Violent crime has been on a very slow but gradual increase over time. The city of Austin as a whole has experienced increases in violent crime, as have every other city in the United States. Fortunately, we have not seen that downtown. Downtown violent crime has remained flat, and we're very glad about that fact. Property crime, though, has been on a downward trend for about the last 10 years and remains so currently. So that's the good news.
Okay, and now looking at that DPS-APD partnership, we know that that was established recently. How does that impact your efforts downtown and really the efforts to cut down on crime in the area?
Well, having a safe city as a whole is really important to also having a safe downtown. We recognize it's really early in the partnership to really call how it's going completely. But the fact that the relationship has allowed the Department of Public Safety to take many illegal firearms off the street, has confiscated many drugs that could ultimately filter downtown or other places across the city, we know that's helpful to keeping the city as a whole safe, which also helps impact downtown. It also helps keep staffing up where APD officers, rather than having to work overtime to cover areas that the state troopers are now covering, allows them to focus on keeping their regular shifts up and running, and downtown shifts included.
Okay, and Bill, an interesting point that you brought up, you said that there should be a focus on the need for increased shelters and improvement to the Arch. Explain that to me and what that looks like.
Well, there's been tremendous improvement at Arch over the last 6 months since the new operator took over full operations in October. We've seen a 180-degree turnaround there. The beds are full every night. People are on a waiting list to get into the facility. We know that what Urban Alchemy is doing at the Arch is working. We need more shelter, however. A lot of perceptions of safety have to do with what people see when they're downtown or anywhere. Are they seeing a lot of people living unsheltered, people with unchecked, untreated mental health or substance use issues? And there's a lot of work underway right now to address all of these things. There's unprecedented collaboration between public, private, and nonprofit sector, unprecedented funding dedicated to the issue. And just this week and last, City Council and Travis County have taken steps to, one, create a permanent mental health diversion center to help treat people's needs other than sending them to jail. And then also City Council supported creating an interlocal. We're moving toward creating an interlocal with the county to get there. And so hopefully we'll have a pilot program up and running soon. Before years down the road, we have a permanent mental health diversion center. But all of these things are really important. But in the meantime, we needed immediate actions to be taken because of the understaffing situation at the police department with nearly 300 vacancies. It was important that we fill the void for the need for officers, and we really thank and appreciate the actions that our mayor and local officials took to make that happen.
Okay, and then lastly, any key takeaways? I know that you all host this forum every month just to update the public and to talk to local authorities about what's happening, but any other key takeaways from the forum that we did not know about?
Well, one thing that's really important and we like to mention a lot is that public safety is everyone's responsibility. So for people to be mindful of their surroundings when they park their car, not to leave belongings in view or in the car, especially the keys. We find that a lot of cars that are stolen, the keys were left in it. Being mindful of your surroundings, not having your head in your phone while you're moving around downtown. All of these things are important, including not over consuming or buying or doing illicit drugs. I mean, all of those things in terms of personal responsibility are important as well. We ask people, if you think or feel or see something that just doesn't seem right, you've got to say something. Call 911, make that call to hopefully prevent something bad from happening.
Okay, Bill Brice from the Downtown Austin Alliance, as always, thank you so much for being here.